the babies, they said they put the babies in a dish and I saw where a room where they went to. Mm-hmm. Then everybody left and I was left there, covered half naked and all that. And I remember the sun rose when I was there and I was facing that, and the sun came up and I had myself with my thoughts, and they're not very pleasant thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I just told God, I'm so sorry. I'll never do this again. I think that's the first time I ever just thought of who God is and what I've done and what I've been doing. And I swore that. And I remember I was there and I just got off the bed and went to the room and I found the babies there in a dish and in a basin sort of. And they were there, facing each other, and a boy and a girl. They were just hugging themselves. And I'm telling you, they look so much like their dad. I saw these are human beings. I touched them, they were still warm. Knowing what I know now, those babies would have survived. And I went back, but after I left that, I went back and I was freezing. I just started tetemekering. I was really cold. And one nurse came and found me, and then I was just freezing. They were putting blankets on me and I was just freezing. I don't know why. And what I know, I ended up with a drip. And now you're put in a room, they put in a drip, you have your thoughts with you. And I was looking at that drip and they're telling me the only time we discharge you and you've gone through 3 of these drips. And I was looking and they were telling me, that's stupidity of young girls, eh? So I was thinking, the faster this drip goes, the faster I'll leave this place. And I remember, I was seeing them and I decided to adjust the drip. So it can... Yeah. So the nurse comes and says, but I mean, it's, these days when I think how dangerous that is.
Yes.
See, so...
you were still 16, 17?
No, by then I was about 26.
26?
Yes.
So you stayed away from home for almost 10 years?
Yeah, I was at home. My dad said there's no way I'm coming back home because I was in total rebellion. I was actually chased out of Kenya and signed my passport on the air because there's a man who liked me in church and told my dad he wanted to marry me. And my dad, it was those days the government used to take people en masse to India. Mm. So he did his things and I was there and he sent my brother with me to go and look after me. So I was very naive. That's what I can say. I'm stupid. So this happens and I'm out. And all I could remember is there's a friend of mine, he's still a friend of mine, who was there with me, but the father of the children were not there. I went home, I found him there. And, you're there, but something changes. I think something changes. This is in hindsight, I see what changed. But something changes, but we continue. That year, luckily, that's the first time my parents agreed. They didn't know what was going on in my life, but they agreed for me to come back home for holidays. And I came back home, spent my time here. I used to journal a lot, and I had all these things written down and all that kind of thing. And we're here in Kenya here. We stayed for summer, a few months, and went back. And I decided I need to finish this place and get back home. So back there, we went on. A year later, I got pregnant. No, we were actually not happened. I didn't get pregnant. This guy started going out with a lady who actually was staying out in the house, and I just decided, me and men, it is over. All this pain, everything, there's nothing really I've gotten out of it. And I sat down and I thought and I said, I need a baby who is going to be mine. I'm going to love it and it's going to love me back and what. And that's how I had my daughter. I got pregnant deliberately, and this time nobody would talk to me. I would not listen to anybody. And I had my daughter, she's turned 28 yesterday. Mm. Yes, and she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I know, and I gave birth to her in India, with her in India till she was 1.5. Just before the tickets, but they can come back free. Mm. But when they're about 2 years, you have to pay half the ticket. And I only had a ticket, so we had to come back home early. But I finished my master's and I finished my postgraduate diploma in systems management. And I came back home. At least I knew that one of Atakama, they'll make noise at me. Because they wanted me to come back when they discovered I was pregnant. But I refused because I know my mom, they would not let me go back and finish. So I finished and came. And in coming here, I just jumped into work. I got internships. I jumped into work. And in work again, I'd broken up with this guy. Actually, he left me in India. I stayed in India when I was finishing with my baby. He came over. So I came back and went on with my life. And I got a job. And getting a job, I was in a relationship again. And it didn't take long. I don't even think I got myself pregnant. And when I'm pregnant again,
in
Kenya, and my baby, my mom took my baby, she's with my baby at home. And I'm wondering, and the guy just tells me, whatever you decide, will do. So I sat with this baby till about 3 months here, and I was wondering, and I remember I told my friends, hey, by the way, my best friend, this is what's happened, and she says, unataka kufanya nini? Do you want to flash it? And I was whatever, but somehow, then, we had done an interview, and we were doing the medical test, and they had done, an X-ray. Too much information sometimes is dangerous. So I said, hey, how watu wamenipiga X-ray? We always told X-rays can deform babies at a certain stage, and what. I think those are the valid, how I was convincing myself what to do. So I'm back to that time of something had happened to my baby.
Yeah.
So I decided, I just one time woke up and told him, Atwende. But before that, I'd gone to the doctor, a place in town that is well known. And he told me it's possible. He talked to me through it. He says, what do I think? I says, no, I don't need to. My life is ahead, my whatever, what I know.
And did you tell the doctor in Kenya what you had done in India?
No, he didn't ask. Okay. He didn't ask. He was just asking me, are you sure you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? But because everybody else I did an interview with had been confirmed as permanent, I was the only one who was not confirmed. And I was saying, excuse me, come on, daughter. And that time you'd find that it was those days when you did an interview and being asked, do you have children? Getting pregnant was like a no-no at that time, So all these things in my head, I decided, my career ahead, this and that, I need to move on and all that. This time I'm about what? I was 30 going to 31. And and then he came and he told me I paid thing and then referred me somewhere in Isili. Told me there, here you give the receipt, ingia hapa. And it was, I must have been something, because there was something that was sucking, you think that was making a lot of noise in that place, And and that's what happened. We were put in a waiting room. The guy was downstairs. I got into the car and went home.
So that was the what abortion?
Hey, that was all I know. That was I can't remember the fifth one. No, seventh. Okay, fifth, because there were 4 abortions too, and one was twins, so there were 5 babies.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was the ectopic.
Yeah.
Those are babies I've lost.
Yeah.
And then there was the ectopic and the spontaneous.
Yeah.
They are not abortions, but actually per se, but they are babies I lost. So after that, I got to my son, who's 22 now. Yeah. Something just in me, I needed a baby. I just wanted a baby. And I was going to get my baby. And I remember that is the method works. It's like accounting tunafanya kwa biology. Ya kusema hapa, you're non-vital what. It works, my dear, I can tell you. So that's how I got my son. He's 22 now. And all this happens, and I just went on with my life. But somehow, when I was pregnant with my son, I was a very high performer in sales. I just lost, I couldn't work. I just lost, I don't know, I was just lethargic. I couldn't do anything. I thought I was pregnant because I was pregnant, but I just lost this zest for life. As you can know, I'm a Sanjun, I think 100%. It's like the lights went off me. And from then on, it was always a struggle. Just to, right now I look at it that I started getting depressed then. So in all this 50 years, that was 33 to 40, I got born again. And it's because life was just not making sense to me, and I ran to God. I get born again. I was going out with a married man. I told him no, it is over that day, and it was over. I have a son. And at 50 is when it hits me. Life just, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. I was a horrible mother. My children were having issues and all that kind of thing. In hindsight, I right now realize that there's a reason why this is all happening. I realize that it's because of the abortions I did. There's something I did wrong that had to be righted up. And that's why right now I'm a pro-life champion. I fight for the unborn because I know it is wrong. I know what happens to you. There's nothing like safe abortion. It breaks a mother's heart and it stops another heart of a child. So it's murder. I say this, I tell my story so that people will know. Whoever wants to say there's safe abortion, there's nothing like safe abortion. The people who are doing it, please don't do it. It's only God can get you out of that shame and guilt that is in your spirit. It's only God who can do it. And I thank God that He had mercy on me. He had mercy on me.
Martha, why do you think you were doing all these abortions? Is it because you wanted to run away from shame, from guilt?
No, it's not. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was just okay. Nobody told me no, it's bad. And also, I was wondering what are you going to tell people at home? And those days they used to say, don't go to India and come back with 2 degrees. Just come with a paper one, don't come with a human being. That's how we are sent off and all that kind of thing. So it's actually lack of knowledge. If somebody gave me the options that are there today of adoption, if somebody gave me options that you can give up a child or you can be helped with the child, if I knew that the way my parents looked after my children, if I brought them back home, my parents would have not said no. You see, but it left me with this scars that took God to heal. It took God. It took me at the cross. I cried enough times, even when I was born again. I cried. I could never say how sorry I am. I could never, till I remembered, and He assured me that, Martha, when my son died on the cross, I will forgive you.
Amen.
Yes, I forgive you. And I'll continue talking about it because I wouldn't like any country that could let their children go through that. Yeah.
Does it affect you? Does it affect you right now, or have you walked past that?
I've walked past it because the person who took me through the counseling one time looked at me and told me, Martha, do you know you're healed? But the interesting thing, the first time when we were fighting for this to be stopped, and I remember I was telling God, and I used to be very lonely. And there's a voices in your head that laugh at you. Yeah, you don't listen. Those kind of things. But I kept on telling God, I am so alone. I'm so alone. I'm so sorry. Even the children I have, I don't have them. My daughter went to Canada. I've not seen her for the last 12 years. My son here, we are contending with also. I thought I deserved all this pain. Yeah. So, that's that. It's the cries. You get things. You hear babies crying in your head. You count. My babies could have been this age.
Yeah.
But there are things that happen to you psychologically that are not you. You don't perform. You're half yourself. You're a shadow of yourself, and all that. And I know there are women who've done abortion and they had my story. They have had children. I think they've never told, and they call me older women, 60, and they tell me I did it. How can I? And I said there's help. There's post-abortion counseling. There's healing that is possible. And in all that healing and in all this story, a man looked at me and loved me, and I got engaged this year.
Wow.
And we'll get married next year. So in all this fullness and all this craziness, God gave His testimony of that. I approve of you. I love you.
Amen.
Yes.
Martha, could you look at this camera and speak to a lady that is contemplating abortion?
Let me tell you, if you have a baby in you, that's a life. It's not about choice. Your choice finished the day you decided to have sex. But once a baby is in your stomach, that is somebody totally different. It's their rights that are paramount, not yours. If you've had an abortion, there's help. There's help. But even when you're having the baby, know that there are options. There's adoption. And also you can be going to a Kyoto if you have problems at home. There are Kyotos around the country where you can go to and you can stay there in total seclusion and be helped to have your baby. We found out that most of the girls want to give their babies up for adoption. When they've given birth, they don't give up those babies. They want their babies. When you want to take them away, they refuse to give them up. So there's hope. It's a life. let me not be lied to.
Yes, there is hope. We'll hear from the specialist who will tell us the nature of unsafe abortion and the negative side of abortion. And we are going to learn more about how to keep ourselves from abortions and to spread the news and to offer help to those that are contemplating abortion, unsafe abortion.